G'day everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be featuring another battle in the Japanese Tier 9 premium battleship, the IJN Musashi. So I've covered the Musashi previously, but once again it really is a strong battleship. As long as you're not spammed to death, it's what I call a static BB. You want to be very careful how far you advance and the decision when you need to stop advancing and start reversing or just bow tanking and sitting stationary is a very important choice in the Musashi. It's one of the few choices you have to make with this ship during a game, but it really is important. As the ship doesn't start moving quickly, nor does it stop moving quickly. So if you're already overextended, just hitting S and trying to reverse is certainly not going to save your bacon. You're going to be burnt alive. So our team has a few more non-clanners. I don't like using that as kind of a measuring stick for a player's ability. But if someone is a clan, chances are, let's put it this way, there's a high probability of him knowing what he's doing and not being the person who has no idea what he's doing. While a non-clanner might be on his 400th battle, there's nothing wrong with that, and will probably feel certainly out of place in a high tier battle. As tier 9 is certainly a high tier, or he might have just bought his way through the game. That's perfectly possible, 3x speed all his way down, and the way the system works these days, it's not really hard to get to high tiers, and you certainly don't have the requisite experience to handle a high tier ship. This game is it's complicated, it's difficult, there are a lot of hidden mechanics, so it's deceptively difficult. I mean, everyone can learn how to shoot, but where to take your ship, things like concealment, overmatch, spotting are all mechanics that aren't easily or aren't probably explained at all in the game client. Straws doesn't like our Zara. So these concepts aren't explained, so people just don't know anything about them and don't know why they're spotted and why they aren't spotted and why the enemy disappears. Anyway, I digress, that's a subject for another video. So we're just pushing up the east here. There are no DDs, so I can quite safely move up. I have these cruisers ahead of me. And we snap a shot off at this Zara. Now remember, you do need good lead for the Musashi. The shells are quite slow, and we get a tasty citadel. We're lucky he angled slightly, otherwise that would likely have been an overpen. And our friend the King George finishes him off. The King George actually has very good AP for cruisers, as their shorter fuse time reduces overpens, which is something that really, again, isn't properly explained in the client. Now here's a Genizer now, he's pushing ahead. It's difficult with no DD, sorry. So we just fire a speculative salvo into the middle of the ship. 8,000 damage, not too shabby. And you can see I've already briefly stopped here. We've got good shots, good line of sight. If there are more enemy ships behind these islands and I pushed, I would probably die quite quickly. So it's not what we want to do. We can affect the battle from here. So we can just keep on shooting from where we are until we have some more spotting. Don't overextend. Well, 25,000 on the Genizer now. That was quite a tasty salvo. Now we can see that the enemy is kind of moving towards B. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ships. That's over half their team, so that is their main push. So here we can start pushing. Always do that. Count the enemy ships, okay, the disposition, because it gives you information. It's kind of like a chess game, really. Count your enemies, look where his pieces are, and act accordingly. We can only see 2 ships here. Usually if there are ships here that can take a shot, unless they're unicorns or something, they're going to shoot at you. They're not going to, wait for that perfect shot. No, especially not at this tier. So if there were more ships very close, they would have already fired. So we can safely push. Now, with no DDs around, I can quite safely and happily take point. If I take too much damage for some reason, I can just reverse and tank. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a very tough ship. Very strong armor, tier 10 armor, so to speak. So here's the Algeria, and he's pushing into C. I don't know how smart that is. Certainly kind of ill-advised, as he knows that I'm here. And so are several of us, so he's going to take fire from the two Zaras and from us. He's going to be caught in crossfire. If we don't get him, the others will. So we fire a shot at him. Quite a tight salvo and just one overpen. Okay, that's a little disappointing, but our team will get him if we don't. His torpedoes are laughable, especially against the Musashi, so I'm just going to push on here. He can't do very much damage to me at all. So he's flashing us his broadside, but others got to him first. Really, there's not much he can do here. Fire a full salvo to secure the kill. Always secure a kill. There's no such thing as frags in this game. Even if you allow an enemy ship to fire one more salvo, that could be critical. Don't do it. Don't think about other people's kills. No, if the enemy ship is not dead, you take that shot, or you can kind of just split some fire maybe one or two turrets at him, but try and ensure if he doesn't die to something else, he will die to your fire. Early in my gaming career in World of Warships, there were a few games where I held fire so as not to kill steal, and I died because of it. Ooh, devastating strike on that Shores. See, he's slightly angled, so all the shells armed. 2 citadels are enough for a devastating strike. So, our push is going well. It seems it was just those 2 ships here. That's Shores and Kniser now. We've taken the 2 caps, so I'm going to push on into their cap, and we'll just see what appears. We're already at 100,000 damage. It looks like this battle is going to be over quite quickly. We've dispatched 2 enemies. We're very healthy, haven't even used the heal yet. Musashi can be quite dominating if it's top tier, especially in a game that doesn't have any carriers or DDs. It's just the top banana, so to speak. Now the enemy are kind of milling around square G1, 2, 3. They've seen that they've lost everything on this side, and they don't quite know what to do. And there isn't much they could do. They would have to do an organized push. Maybe send 1 or 2 ships out here to kite us, like that Ibuki, and the rest would have to push into B to just take the cap. As you can see, they'll take crossfire from our team at IJ line and our team on C. So they're in a bad situation. Teams need to fan out for crossfire. Having the whole team in 2 or 3 squares is just really bad. They're going to take fire from 2 angles, and there's not much they can do. Now, as I see the enemy are moving towards B, I'm going to move towards B as well. If I was a different BB, I would move into their cap, A, I believe, to get flanking fire, but really Musashi doesn't need to flank when it's top tier. You can just deal indiscriminate damage at any angle. If I was an Alsace or a Georgia especially, or a Friedrich, I would go out that way. But here there's no need. We can just go straight into them and tank if necessary, because at randoms, ships like cruisers feel much safer if there's a DD in front of them, and with no a BB in front of them. So with no DDs, there's really no danger with us tanking, and nothing's going to kill us quickly. If you're bottom tier, in tier 10, you shouldn't tank so aggressively. Perhaps the Smolensk can burn you down from stem to stone in about 3 minutes, no matter what you do. So there's that Jean Bart, he's doing that push we mentioned, but the rest of his team isn't so keen on the push. So as you see, I fired that round. That would have been certainly a kill steal, a frag, but you never leave a ship alive, and even leave him a probability of survival. So into the cap we go, or in maybe another 200 meters. And we're snapping off some shots. You see they're all running for the edge of the map. The battle is over, so it's really just a matter of trying to get some damage. So that Leon looks tasty. They're not pushing into B anymore, so I'm going to move to starboard and try and go through that gap between those two islands to get some extra damage. Going straight, I think he's not going to find me a target. So I keep on going forward. I'm hoping this Leon is going to advance and give me, or broadside would be lovely, but even if it isn't broadside, I'll be happy. That's a blind shot at the Ibuki. Take blind shots. Just shoot at their last known position. That could have been a hit. And you never know, you might get lucky. Any damage is still damage. Don't shy away from blind shot. So there's the Leon, and he is giving us broadside. So let's see, our guns have almost reloaded. Tier 9, so you get the main battery upgrade. And we shoot just into the center of the ship. Of course, for horrendous damage at this range, no matter where we hit him, we're going to get massive damage. So on we go into the cap. Leon is very close to dying. One more salvo should do it. Is he going to take a torpedo? No. So let's see. Take a shot at that Ibuki. I admit I'm being a little bit greedy now as the Leon has less life. I took a riskier shot at the Ibuki. But the game is pretty much over this. They don't have the force really to deal with me in a cost-effective manner. So we've almost taken the cap. 20 seconds. I take a hit, so they reset us for another 5 seconds, and we continue working on this Leon. I've realized that Ibuki knows what he's doing, and I'm not going to hit him. So down goes the Leon. Just one shell was needed, and we're going to push out. We have the Georgia here. We have the the Zara and the Soyuz and the Nagato. So there are quite a few ships here, but the battle is not going to last much longer. So we'll just see what we can steal out here. Now a shot into the middle of the Zara, completely misses. Now remember that this ship does not have monstrous dispersion. It's quite not bad, but average. So you will get those occasional wonky shots. Very small targets are difficult to hit. And here we give our broadside to the Georgia, who seems to know what he's doing, and he hit us for a lot of damage. About 50,000, I believe. But at this stage of the game, I'm happy to trade damage, life for damage, or damage for damage, if you like. Now the George is going to rush towards us. I'm just popping reverse, and I'm just going to shoot him. Anywhere we hit him is good damage. Here I aim at the angled belt. That is always a bad idea. At close range, don't aim for the belt like that. You're going to get bounced. It's about the only part of a ship that can bounce my shells. At this stage of the game, we snipe the Soyuz. Always very important to ensure kills. He shoots us again in the Citadel. He only got one Citadel, that was lucky. And we shoot him for some overpens. Now we're almost done. I think he wants to ram us. We shoot again, a couple of hits. I think his fuselage, or what do you call it? The hull is quite saturated. And that's the end of the battle. So, not a very long game, about 15 minutes, pretty good damage. What was it, 150,000 or something? 156, 1.1 million credits, a lot of credits. And we got second place. Good job, Sarah. We'll give him a compliment. It's a very good performance. And I'll see you next time, everyone. Thanks for watching.